right. Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Desi Ekstein. I am the founder of On the Go Video, and I'm super excited to have I'm excited to have you two here with me today for this topic of expanding aviation to save lives. You are both subject matter experts in this topic, and so I would like to welcome you. And so to start off with, I have Michelle Madaras with WingXpand. And so I know also one of the things there, both of you have won awards because of the leadership that you have shown in this industry. So before we kick this off, I also want to introduce Pharns Genece. He is the founder of USOG, also an award winner. And so can we start this by telling us a little bit about your company and how you are expanding and saving lives?
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here and so honored to be recognized by Women in Drones. It's just an incredible organization. Really briefly, WingXpand is expanding what's possible with aerial intelligence. And we're doing that with a 7-foot fixed wing drone that actually has expandable wings. It comes out of a backpack in less than 2 minutes. And that allows our farmers to grow more yield, our first responders to respond to disasters faster, and it also helps keep our soldiers safe.
Love it. I love it. Fantastic. And
How am I supposed to follow?
I know. Where's the follow-up, right? Yeah. But you're doing amazing things.
Well, I'm the CEO and founder of USOG, Unmanned Systems Operations Group. Now we're uncrewed now. And and so what we do is we enable drones to carry a myriad of things. And we started out specializing in medical assets, so moving blood, vaccines, and all those type of things. And we've expanded the opportunity to not only do that, but using sensors on the end of a drone tether in order to keep our soldiers and community safe. You know, we do a myriad of things, but our focus is the cargo systems that allow drones and expand their possibilities to do good.
Awesome. Awesome. Both are fantastic in paving a path forward in this industry. I love that. So can you tell us a little bit, Vance, about how you see this actually crossing over into other industries as well?
Wow. Basically, drones are flying robots. And that's what they are. They're just flying robots. And so any industry that you see a robot in today, we could help expand their opportunities. For instance, we have a smart tether that allows us communication along the tether line. We can put a radiological sensor on it and fly over a cargo ship and detect whether there's any radioactive activity. And that way we're saving dock workers. If there happen to be inoperative bad actors in the area, we can help sniff that out. And so that opportunity to help both sectors allows us to just cross industries. And so we are able to open up to the entire world and not just drone aerial specifics.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and so specifically as far as like saving lives and moving in that direction and all, Michelle, how do you see that area expanding?
Mm-hmm. You know, as Pharns mentioned, it crosses so many industries here, and we have been working with a lot of public safety officials, both in police as well as firefighting. And we were actually just recognized at the Natural Disaster Show in Anaheim, California. We were voted the most innovative technology of 2020 by our peers there. So we were so excited by that opportunity. But part of that is because of the ability to detect and alert. So if you're talking about a wildfire, for instance, it's able to detect a certain heat signature and then send an alert so that this isn't a campfire, this is something bigger. And before it really has the opportunity to spread in a very rapid manner, you have the alert, you can have real-time detection as soon as that's starting. And that also helps the folks that are on the ground better battle that fire in a more safe manner. WingXpand, because we have a larger payload capacity, we can also carry communications equipment on board. And so that provides not only visual, but audio communication for folks in a secure and safe manner.
Okay, nobody said anything about my little pun on words. Right?
I love it.
So that's awesome. So, but that does really bring up another question as far as like one size does not fit all.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
So can you elaborate a little bit as far as like what process you're using, what software or platform?
Well, we're using, multi-rotor platforms, and they're using fixed wing. And I can see in the future where they might have a long-range mission where they would detect an alert and then deploy rotor wing, multi-rotor to deliver, let's say, supplies or a package, because we move up to 20 pounds, and that's a big payload. And it could be whatever you need. So I see our platforms working together, and the communications protocol is pretty much what we would decide on. We can be open network, closed networks. It's whatever the end client needs. So we're able to move in multiple circles.
Drones are all just tools in a toolbox.
Oh, yes, they are. We've heard that so many times. And they are in various sizes,
Oh, yeah.
sizes and shapes. That is so true. So I imagine one of the hurdles that we quite often have to deal with is the regulatory side. So share a little bit about some of that you see that in the future. Actually, if both of you could share about what are some of those regulatory hurdles that you see or would like to see positive side.
Well, I think it's such an exciting time in the space, and we all have heard that through all of these different panels. And last night at the award ceremony, so many people are doing so many amazing things. And I think policy is such a strong portion of that. And not only is it important to innovate, but it's important to innovate and do that safely and responsibly. But the policy also needs to reflect where we are as an industry. And it also equates to things like jobs, things like manufacturing. If we have the ability to make and manufacture aircraft like this in the US, it'll bolster us and our economy here. And so I think regulation and making sure that regulation runs in parallel with innovation is so critical to making sure that the US is ready, as we're seeing other countries already embrace some of these different policy issues.
Yeah, agreed. Regulations are good. They're a good thing. They allow us to operate safely. However, regulation needs to be in parallel with the innovation, because the lack of the regulatory behind us is holding us back. It's constraining us to move forward with a lot of things. Our technology is there. Our technology is amazing. However, we're not able to unleash it fully because of regulations. And part of that is that we need to collect more data in order to inform the regulators. However, it's a chicken and the egg scenario. They want more data, but we can't provide the data because they won't let us fly like we want to. So we're kind of stuck, and so we have to work in tandem and help them understand what we can do, and in hopes to loosen those reins up for us to move forward.
Yes. And I know I've had conversations with you specifically, Pharns, about locations to collect that data and make that available. And so hopefully those doors will open as we move forward.
Yeah.
So I would like to also ask both of you, as far as where do you see women in this aviation industry? How do you see, circling back to the saving lives side of things, where do you see the fit for diversity and women having a fit for that, and how can those doors open as well?
Do I start?
All
right.
You're the woman here, so.
Well, you know what? I think it is bringing all of the people to the table. I myself don't have an engineering background. However, I am still involved in all of our technical conversations with our engineers. Sometimes it's that simple solution, and it could have been the difference of, let's create this thing and it's going to have all this complexity. And it's like, well, we could just make a lever and that would be different. That would be a much more simple approach. So I think it's important, not only from that side of things, but also there are so many skill sets that are needed to create a business of our sort. So you kind of have to be a Jack and a Jill of all trades. That requires diversity. That requires different skill sets. And so if you don't necessarily have a particular background, the drone industry is an amazing space right now where you can still be out here and you can become a leader. Educate yourself, inform yourself. Everyone's open and accepting. I've really ran into very few people in the drone industry and the community, which it is that. It's a community where we all grow and learn and work together and make ourselves as an industry better as opposed to like rivalry and competition.
Yeah. I like to. I've said this many times. It's co-opetition. We are working together in order to increase and build this industry, so we can all move forward together. So that's where I see this. And as far as women in the industry, you've heard me speak on other panels that I prefer female pilots. Seriously, you know the old adage where the guy is like, "Hey, forget the map. I'm just gonna drive."
Oh, I'm not forgetting the map.
Well, yeah, and so women tend to think differently than men, which is a beautiful thing, and I love it because sometimes, like you said, they come up with the simplest solutions, and sometimes guys just make things complicated. It's just so much better, and the diversity not only just among women, but across the entire scope, the underserved communities. There's hidden geniuses right now that we haven't even met yet that are in underserved communities that we just need to go and tap into those areas. So I'm lucky to be here because this is Women in Drones. I'm just glad you accepted me.
Well, I think that this is all, again, an ecosystem. And how do you feed that from the bottom up? I think we've talked about the importance of education and getting drones involved in the education system because every classroom should have drones. Kids should know how to operate these and know how to fix them, know how to fly them, all of these things are skill sets that will prepare them for other things in life. And I think that's so vital. You start at young ages, and I hope that in another 10 years and another 20 years, the drone industry will be representative and emblematic of what not only STEM, but all industries should look like.
Right. And I've gone back and now I'm an instructor. And the thing I've realized is that we need formal education, but you also need self-education.
For sure.
I remember having to go to the library to look something up. Now it's in the palm of my hand. So all the information is available to you. If you want to get started in the industry right now, you just have to Google whatever it is you want, and you will find a tutorial and somebody to help you. And if you decide to make a phone call to anybody in this industry, how do you do this? I know pretty much everybody would pick up the phone and help you.
100%.
100%. So I have my own saying. It's dream big dreams, dare to be great, do it.
Love it.
That's the only thing that's missing is taking action. So if you want to get in the industry, it's yours. It's open.
And like you said, not everybody has to be an engineer. There's so many different places for everybody to be.
Exactly.
So I love that. Where do you see the aviation for saving lives expanding to? What do you hope to see as a vision?
Well, we're going to be here for another 20
All right,
minutes.
so how much time do we got?
I think there's so much potential there. I talked a little bit about what we're doing in the public safety realm. But when you start thinking about natural disasters, we're seeing more and more of them year after year after year. So think about if communications are knocked out in a situation, you're trying to evacuate people. You're trying to, quickly assess, even from an insurance perspective, the damage that is done from all of this. That can all be done with drones. Search and rescue, life saving, delivering supplies to people that may be trapped in a particular situation. There are so many different opportunities. One that specifically stuck with me was I met a woman who, in her area, wildfires are extremely prevalent. And she said, there is a free software NASA provides, and you can Google an address, and it kind of just shows you on a map a red block over like a particular area. She's like, but I never really know, was that my house? Was that my neighbor's house? What does the damage look like? You just kind of see this square. And to give people the insight or the reassurance during those moments when they're going through tragedy, that is incredible to me. And I think as we see more emergencies and natural disasters happen, being able to reassure and rebuild during those moments will be critical.
Yeah.
It is critical.
Like you, I have a moment that stuck in my head when Hurricane Katrina hit. and there was a family on a rooftop, and then tape they put "Help Me" across the roof.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
Remember that, yes.
So that stuck with me for the longest time, and I'm like, how's this happening? And then I realized I can have a drone that could take them supplies or medication, whatever it is that they needed, and I can provide that to them, a radio, whatever, just to see somebody, a drone to come. How much comfort would that give you if you're in a situation like that?
Huge.
Okay, huge. And so that's one of the things that stuck with me and why I started my company. And in the future, I foresee the ability of first responders to have a cell phone, hit a button, and it calls the drone directly to their location. We have the technology to do it right now, where the drone will come down. Oh, nope, there's a truck there. There's open landing site. I'll land there to bring in additional supplies, to start a new IV, to take a blood sample back to the hospital before they even move the patient. So these are all things I think of because of my medical background. So I see us having the ability to do that. We have the technology now. However, we're constrained by regulation.
Circle back to that regulation side.
Right.
Yes, but it'll be expanding.
Yes.
But
It is
we will be expanding. We
and
will be.
We will definitely be seeing more of that in the future. And I feel that now people are starting to have that public awareness of
I
the
agree.
value
Yeah.
and what a tool that drones are. And I truly do see that they're saving lives, and people will begin to see that.
And I think, like anything else, right? If you're even talking about vehicles, there are the potential for vehicles to be dangerous. There are the potential for vehicles to change lives. You can get to a job. You can get to see important people, your family, friends. Like, they have enabled us, and in a way that drones will enable us in the future. And I feel like, yes, do they need to be regulated? Of course. Do they need to be safe? Of course. But all of these things, it's just another medium for us to live more efficiently and to help each other. I think this is going to be the next big innovation, like the railroads, the cars, the drones. It's the next big innovation that will change everyday life for average folks.
Yeah, and I agree with you because I remember when the first cell phone came out. Everybody's like, "Why would you want a cell phone? There's a payphone right there."
Yeah, like,
They're huge.
Yeah. Oh, they're
Right?
monstrosities. That's like, why would you want one of those? Ew. What does everybody have in their pocket right now?
Yes.
Everybody. They have a cell phone. So we are at that point where the drone, it's a monster cell phone. We have only begun to scratch the surface of what we're going to be able to do with drones and robotics.
So that kind of jogged something in my mind. In the beginning, those cell phones were huge. So were drones.
Yeah.
And now they're getting pretty small too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's something at WingXpand we base, it's sort of our mantra, right? We want to provide the most powerful and capable system and the smallest, easiest to use footprint. And so we've taken a 7-foot wingspan, right? And the benefits that come from a large wingspan, longer flight times, more efficiency, but made that portable. And so the cell phone has gotten smaller.
Yes,
And more people are continuing to do that. Like,
Yeah.
you have heavy lift drones that
Yeah.
are able to, be able to all of a sudden, instead of needing, let's say, a helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Smaller.
And I've even gone from my large platform that lift 20 pounds. Well, I only need 5. Okay. Build a smaller one just for the 5 pound. It depends on the need with the client. Does everybody here have an Android? No. Does everybody have an iPhone? No. Different phones for different folks.
Yes.
Same things.
every tool for the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Tool for the job.
Yes, yes. And I love that yours fits in a backpack. Right?
Me, not so much.
No, not so much.
Again, tools in a toolbox, though, right? You
Right.
can't use a hammer for everything, just like you can't use a screwdriver for everything. It's just
Sure.
Okay, I was
I'm
gonna
a
say.
guy.
well,
I'm a
I
guy.
use
We-
duct tape for everything, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough. It was wonderful having you here, sharing that vision of the future for
Thank you. Thank you.
aviation and how we're expanding to save lives with drones. I love it. So thank you very, very much.
Well, thanks for
Thank you for having me. Such a great
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.